Script Sports, this is Grit and Glory, the University of Montana Spring Rodeo, presented by Montana Knife Company.
Hello everyone and welcome to Grit and Glory, the University of Montana Spring Rodeo. Now over the next hour, we're going to bring you stories from inside and outside this arena here at the Missoula County Fairgrounds, as the latest Spring Rodeo is officially in the books. But first, let's take a look at the winners and the highlights from this year's rodeo. Beautiful weather treated everyone in attendance for 2 days at the Spring Rodeo as May arrived and spring was felt in full effect. Night 2 closed the show as competitors sealed victories, and the first one went to Montana State's Cole Gerhardt, who not only was victorious in the bareback riding, but was also the men's all-around winner for the rodeo. Steer wrestling followed that, and Ryder Gosh of Montana State flew on both of his attempts for a combined 11 seconds on 2 runs to take home the first place buckle.
I love the sport of steer wrestling. That's what I crave all the time, and it's great to come to the last college rodeo of the year and win the first round. The Bulldog, I think I was 4-7, and then make a good run tonight, and I think won the average. The Bulldoggers itself, the group of Bulldoggers, we're all supporting each other and wanting each other to do good, and we travel together. It's just like it's a great sport. And I love there's 2 horses and adrenaline rush. It's just such an art that people sometimes don't really notice, but yeah, this is an awesome sport.
The first women's winner of the rodeo was also a Bobcat, as Faith Marshall doubled up on the day, as she started with a win in the goat tying, followed by a victory in the barrel racing, as she was crowned the women's all-around winner to also make it a trifecta at the Spring Rodeo.
I feel great. I mean, it's a great end of the season. The last couple weekends have been not the best, but I've had a pretty successful season, so it feels really good to end on a high note. I kind of just relaxed a little. I knew this year I came in a little bit of a better position. I knew I was going to make it to the college finals, and that was my goal, so I just relaxed and had fun with it. I knew I drew good in the first round, so took advantage of that and got a little bit of a lead, and yeah, just went out and tried to be smooth in the second round.
The team roping was a victory for the hometown Montana Grizzlies, as Cale Daychief and Chase Kellett got the job done in 15 combined seconds between 2 successful runs.
Me and him, we've known each other for a long time. I mean, we live together, we rope together every day, and there's no other guy I'd rather have roping for me than him. I mean, I know he can throw as much rope as he wants, but when he uses his head and he goes and does what he does right there, I mean, my job's easy once he does that. He puts him on a tadpole, and all I got to do is kick around there and throw my rope.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best healers I've been able to rope with, so if I do my job, he'll do his.
Saddle bronc riding followed that, and it was an event that proved tricky for a number of the riders, and rising among them to take the winning spot was Cardell Laughery of Montana Western.
Oh man, it means the world. This is cool, really cool. I knew the horse was really good and really strong, so I kind of had to bear down and get ready for it. We had a little trouble all the way across there and just kind of kept bearing down and getting back under my stuff. So, man, the college rodeo is a cool experience, and every school does a really good job. This one's cool. The crowd's awesome. It's been a really good experience here.
Another victory for Montana State was in store in the breakaway roping, as Rachel Ward went a combined 6.2 seconds in 2 runs to become victorious for the Bobcats.
Yeah, it's been a great year. I mean, I had an outstanding fall, and then I came in with the spring, and I had some tough luck to start it off, but I finished strong, and this was a great way to end it. I needed to do what I did this weekend to make the CNFR, so I'm glad that happened. Just very thankful for the position that I got, this opportunity. It's definitely, I won't take it for granted.
Miles Community College got on the board with a big victory as well, as Weston LaPierre won the tie-down roping at 21.6 seconds in 2 runs to win the top buckle.
This is just a great rodeo that they put on here. Every year they got a full lot of fans. It's always a good time, and my mom's been praying hard for this one, so glad we could get it done. Yeah, we're definitely a smaller program, but I love it at Miles. We're really a family, being small, like everybody knows everybody, and we can all kind of pull together and root for each other, and it's a good time.
Closing it out was the bull riding, and a pair of Bobcats had successful rides both nights between Taj Wells and Holden Atkinson. And in the end, Atkinson edged out his teammate by 7 points to close the rodeo with the big win.
Oh shoot, it means a lot.
I've been coming back off injury here this spring, and started off good at the Bobcat Rodeo in Bozeman there, and came back from probably the bottom of the standings and made my way back and finish off the season with a win. It means a lot. Exactly. I've been working at this my whole life. My goal was to come to college in rodeo and succeed at it, and to be doing it here today is just it's a dream come true. It means a lot to me.
The UM Spring Rodeo wrapped up the spring season in the Big Sky region with the College National Finals Rodeo set for next month in Wyoming. We'll take a look at the CNFR qualifiers later in the show. Coming up, we're talking all things bull riding here for Grit and Glory, the University of Montana Spring Rodeo. We'll be right back after this.
With all due respect to the latest advances in technology, mankind's most effective tools remain the same today as they were way back when. Effort and our own two hands. MKC knives are built that way for people who live that way.
Welcome back to Grit and Glory, the University of Montana Spring Rodeo. Well, Taj Wells isn't a stranger to the bright lights of a big competition, and the freshman at Montana State was built for bull riding for the Bobcats. MTN's Tom Wiley has more.
At the Montana State Spring Rodeo, Taj Wells didn't just win, he took over. The freshman from Browning won both the bull riding and saddle bronc at the first MSU Rodeo, a statement performance during a season that's now ended with him on top. Wells capped the regular season as the Big Sky Region champion in bull riding and the all-around, while finishing fourth in saddle bronc. But for Wells, the rise happened fast. A year ago, with college opportunities to wrestle, play football, or go full-time in rodeo, he wasn't sure what came next. With the Bobcats came calling.
I didn't know where I was going to be last year. It was a pretty tough decision, but deep down I love rodeo, and I figured I'd pick Montana State. It's a super great place. You got a good background of people, a lot of support. It's overall a great school. And
it's a decision already paying off. Bull riding has long been his calling card. Saddle bronc is newer. He only started riding broncs as a high school freshman and says it's only recently become something he's taken seriously.
I mean, it's definitely come along. Every ride just gets better and better, and you pick up each and every ride and start learning how to believe in yourself more and trust yourself.
And the success goes beyond the arena. Back home in Browning, the 2024 state wrestling champion knows younger athletes are watching every step.
To be a role model, it means a lot. It means a lot. There's a lot of younger kids looking up to me, even older people. I try to be the best I can, be the best to them I can, and give back to my community, people all around that need help, and just try to be a better person myself, and sure helps the guy out and gives the guy motivation and confidence.
Taj Wells is proving the next great Montana cowboy can come from anywhere. And for the kids back home in Browning, he's making sure they can see that path clearly. Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Well, at the end of the day, what makes a good bull? That these bull riders are able to compete in this sport at the rodeo. MTN's Luke Shelton has the story about what makes a good bull.
Well, behind me in this pen here are some very large bulls that at a rodeo have one job: to take cowboys for the ride of their life and watch one of these massive creatures in action, and one thing becomes clear: they're every bit as athletic as their human counterparts.
All right, go ahead. Go on, right. It's always an explosion of adrenaline, and you see those bulls come out of the chute, and there's always an element of danger, but we got a lot of good bull riders.
Montana State sure does, including Holden Atkinson, who won the bull riding buckle at the UM Spring Rodeo, and Taj Wells, who finished first in the Big Sky region standings. And so what exactly goes into producing a 2,000-pound animal that jumps, bucks, and spins? Well, it turns out it's more nature than nurture.
Well, you can't really train them to do it. They either have it or they don't.
And today's bulls have evolved to be stronger, faster, and more explosive than ever, thanks to selective breeding.
Well, I think like anything else, as they're bred and selected for those traits that make good bulls, they just keep getting better and better.
And the way that these behemoths are raised has improved as well, as our understanding of them has grown.
Every day we get smarter about animals as humans, and we're better at training them, better at nutrition, and just everything that that goes into livestock.
And when it comes to scoring a qualified ride, the judges want to see the bull put its full repertoire of moves on display.
If a bull just goes out in a flat spin with not much kick, that's pretty easy to ride. But if he's kicking and, you know, throwing his head one way and spinning, and if he changes directions, if he spins to the right and then switches to the left, that's going to add to the difficulty.
I suppose if I owned a bucking bull, I'd like to see him have success and win the first out, you know, but as a coach, I don't want to see that.
The bulls that come charging out of the chutes have come a long way, but for the fearless young men who ride them, the thrill remains the same.
Oh yeah, the rush you get in those 8 seconds side the bull or bronc, you know, it's awesome. It's a good feeling, especially to get one rode. It's unbelievable. I like the feeling, you know. I feel like you get one rode, you feel like you're on top of the world.
In Missoula, Luke Shelton, MTN Sports.
Now imagine being someone who's close to one of these bull riders, especially their parents. The excitement, anxiety, and adrenaline of watching them compete in one of the most dangerous sports in the country. MTN's Slim Kimmel brings us their perspective.
For many rodeo fans, the bull riding is the most thrilling event of the night. But for the moms of those daring cowboys,
I get very nervous. Sometimes I'm like, do I puke? Do I cry?
I always want them to do well, but my anxiety level goes up, I guess, you know, so because I don't want them to get hurt.
it's 1,500 pounds of muscle and violence versus 160 pounds of grit and perseverance. But it started with much smaller stakes.
My dad was a bull rider and saddle bronc rider. My brother rode bulls, so it was just kind of in his blood, and that's what he likes to do.
I knew we were in trouble when he got on his first steer, and he got up like he won the world, and I was like, here we go, we're done for.
Travis Hunter's season ended with the Spring Rodeo, but Gavin Knutson will be headed to the College National Finals.
Gavin's come a long ways in the bull riding career, so it's awesome to watch him. It's awesome to see how far he's come.
Gavin will head to the CNFR with Big Sky champion Taj Wells, who became the region's top bull rider as just a freshman. His dad has been along for the entire ride.
When he was younger and he graduated up to the big bulls, I kind of got pretty nervous, and now I kind of travel with him around, and we been through some pretty big places, and he's been on some pretty good bulls, so I'm kind of mellow now.
Now it's all about what happens in the arena.
Get my phone ready, and so I could record, and I could feel my heart pumping, and I start getting a little nervous, but once he gets out there and he starts putting on a good ride, and start whooping and hauling around and feeling good, just like him, The
thumbs are in the air, he did! 8 seconds for their sons, an eternity for the parents. In Missoula, Slim Kimmel, MTN Sports.
Well, coming up, we'll introduce you to the man who runs this rodeo, as well as heads the University of Montana rodeo program. That's next on Grit and Glory. Stay with us. Welcome back to Grit and Glory. Well, Corey Mitty is no stranger to the Montana rodeo scene, whether as a competitor or lately as the head coach of the University of Montana program. I recently caught up with him to talk about his career in rodeo and what this sport has given to him. Rodeo has been something special for Corey Mitty, as the cowboy life was something he was born and bred to do.
So I've roped ever since I could walk, and I really didn't rope consistently till about the 6th grade, where got a horse, roped, practiced every day, went to team roping clinics. My parents roped, my brother roped, my sister roped, and so it was just something that we did other than skiing, which we also did.
The longtime team roper has a decorated career in the sport, including a trip to the National Finals Rodeo in 1994.
It was a dream of mine, call it the 8th grade, to make it to the National Finals Rodeo. It was a dream, it was fun, it was a goal, and it was more of an expectation than the drive and the sheer will to win. It was just expected, not necessarily from anybody other than myself, and a drive from my parents that, hey, this is what we do, is we win. And so we did.
What followed was a decades-long, highly successful rodeo career on the Montana Pro Rodeo circuit, as recently as 2 years ago, where Mitty wanted to prove he still had it. Saying he's retired now from the sport, Mitty is still fully entrenched as he wraps up year 14 as the University of Montana head rodeo coach.
It's a passion of mine. For 50 years I've been doing this. I've learned a lot. I've accomplished a lot myself. Anything I've learned or accomplished, good and or bad, I can pass it on to our athletes and try to get them out of funk or a bad run, or try to get them positive and confident and moving forward where, hey, even though we missed 3 in a row, the next one we'll probably get.
Through trials and tribulations, coaching allows Mitty to continue learning even today.
The best part for me, I guess the learning part is trial and failure. Everybody learns from failure more than they learn from a perfect ride up and down the mountain, right? You have wrecks along the way, or you have mistakes made along the way, bad advice, good advice that wasn't taken. Learn different ways to say things, and if somebody's not hearing you, try to find a new way to say it.
From his competition to his teaching, the Missoula native has lived and breathed rodeo and helped the next generation along the way.
Passing what I've learned down. It's not like I've learned everything or know everything. I still learn stuff today all the time. Trying to remember everything and pass it along is, sometimes it takes me a day to like, oh yeah, let's try that.
Every year when this rodeo rolls around, we take a look at singular events and what makes them tick and why some of these athletes want to compete in them. MTN's Derek Joseph takes a closer look at steer wrestling.
It takes an insane amount of courage and strength to take down a steer running at full speed. And athletes in steer wrestling work tirelessly to achieve just that.
The Cowboy won in the Brick Breeden.
It is a race against the clock and the animal when the athletes, or bulldoggers as they're known in the rodeo world, saddle up for steer wrestling. To the untrained eye, this event may look chaotic, but it requires a lot of technical skill and precise timing for these bulldoggers to take down their steer.
The best feeling in the world when you make a run on a steer and they feel feather light, just because you do all your mechanics right and everything goes well and you move their momentum well enough that you just use 90% of their body weight against themselves.
And even though only one person gets the buckle and the glory for winning, it takes a whole team of people in the chutes and on the grounds to produce a perfect takedown. One of the most important but often overlooked contributors to the sport is the hazer, whose job is to keep the steer running in a straight line for the wrestler.
That guy has a huge role in setting up your run. Your hazer gets out there and gets the steer lined out for you. And the best part about steer wrestling, everybody's there for everybody, Everybody wants to win, everybody wants to see everybody else do good. And it's just a big brotherhood too, so it's just real easy.
Although the bulldoggers compete against each other, the shared and unique experience of jumping off a horse and taking down a bull is something that unites them, unlike other rodeo events.
We travel together, and it's a great sport. I love there's 2 horses and adrenaline rush. It's just such an art that people sometimes don't really notice.
In Missoula, Derek Joseph, MTN Sports.
Western wear is as popular as it's ever been in the United States. Coming up after the break, we talk to some of the folks who make the fashion behind the rodeo. Welcome back to Grit and Glory, the University of Montana Spring Rodeo. Well, this year's Spring Rodeo had perfect weather, and of course that brings in droves of people sporting the latest fashion. MTN's Emily Brown has more behind those who make the clothing behind the rodeo.
From boots to belt buckles, saddles, and cowboy hats, rodeo fashion is truly in an arena of its own.
We're really good at playing dress-ups and decking everybody out.
Just off of Highway 12 in Lolo, Crazy Horse Consignment has been a used and new Western wear staple. Plus, they even sponsor the University of Montana's Club Rodeo team.
Our motto has been, for the last 21 years, we wouldn't be here without you, in referring to our customers, because They bring us the inventory, they shop with us.
The mother and daughter team of Bonnie Watson and Johanna Applehand say both history and trends influence rodeo fans and competitors alike.
Bull riders definitely have to wear protective vests and helmets. Barrel racers can go a little over the top. They like the fringe and the bling and the flashy clothing more. I think the ropers are more on the conservative side. They just like a regular Western shirt and jeans.
Those looking for something with a custom fit can find all sorts of options throughout Western Montana.
The people are spoiling themselves, and so they're happy when we're putting it together. And then when I finish it, they're still happy.
At Double H Hats in Darby, you're not just getting a piece of headwear, you're making a lifetime investment.
It's actual beaver fur, and it takes hours and hours to get it very smooth. It's waterproof, it breathes better than wool and rabbit. Dye doesn't break down on it.
Rich Sublette has customers flying in from all over the world for fittings.
I measure their heads, and I duplicate their head in a piece of styrofoam. Then the whole hat is built around that. We get them on these blocks, sand them down, iron them. I'm pressing them, getting them firmer. The last half an hour, 20 minutes is actual shaping.
Montana beadwork and even rattlesnake bands are added for an extra unique touch. In Western Montana, Emily Brown, MTN News.
The connection between some of these athletes at the rodeo and their animals cannot be overstated. And for one Miles Community College cowgirl, that is exactly the case. MTN's Scott Breen has more.
We are right back into the heat of college rodeo's regular season, where they run through 6 rodeos in the span of a single month. Now, over in Miles City, there is one competitive pioneer whose best friend in life may actually be her horse.
This is Josie Menzel riding Lefty.
I got him as a graduation present from some friends.
But then she almost let him go after riding him in different scenarios.
I wanted to sell him, and eventually my mom said, well, maybe try goat tying, and it worked out really good.
So good.
I started him on a Monday, and I took him to a rodeo that weekend.
Talk about a quick turnaround. That's when the sophomore at Miles Community College knew this friendship was built to last.
He's been my main mount ever since, so.
Entering this sizzling quick spring season, Josie was 3rd in the Big Sky region's goat tying standings. And that's big because only the top 3 at season's end qualify for June's crown jewel, the College National Finals in Casper. Josie also competes in breakaway roping, and she's following in the path of her mom.
She actually went to Miles City for 3 years and then to Dillon for 3, so it's pretty cool.
Josie says she was torn on which school to attend, but knew a lot of people at MCC, said it was closer to home in South Dakota, and it felt like home. She grew up ranching and rodeoing, but ask what the least cowgirl thing about her is.
Probably that I always have to get dressed up before I do something.
And that includes competing, where in season and off season, determination drives her to tie a lot of goats.
In a week, maybe 20, 30, but I do a lot of ground tying and a lot of horse saver. I don't run my horse a lot, so he knows his job. He doesn't need to.
Another reason that friendship with Lefty is hard to beat. Scott Breen, MTN Sports.
Coming up, we catch up with an MSU Northern cowgirl who's enjoying her time for her college rodeo team. That's next. Stick with us. Welcome back to Grit and Glory. Well, Georgia Orahood has been a star for the Montana State Northern Rodeo program. MTN's Tom Wiley has her story.
Some athletes want the spotlight. Others would rather share it. MSU Northern's Georgia Orahood is one of the best in the Big Sky region. She's a college national finals qualifier, a Montana Circuit finals qualifier, and recently won the all-around title at the Big Sky Region Rodeo in Havre. But ask her about it, and she'll point somewhere else.
I really want to talk about my horse for a minute.
I was going to ask about your horse. Before she talks about herself, Orahood talks about her horse, McQueen, her partner, her constant, and in her words, the real star.
He deserves the world. He's a true champion. I love him so much, and I didn't get to ride him last year because he got hurt. And then this year, one of my friends, Ellie Meeks, her horse got hurt, so she actually got to ride him at the circuit finals, and she won a go around on him. And I couldn't ask for a better horse, better friends, anything. They're just all amazing.
That kind of mindset makes sense when you know where she comes from. Orahood grew up in Malta on a bucking horse ranch where rodeo was never far away.
My family's always been rodeoing, and my family raises bucking horses and bulls, so it's just kind of always been a part of my life.
Now she's turning that life into results. Orahood finished 4th in the Big Sky region all around, adding a 5th place finish in breakaway and 7th in goat tying. Those results helped the Skylights finish 2nd in the team standings and punch their ticket to the College National Finals Rodeo.
I just want to be more consistent with my breakaway roping.
On the high line, that work ethic comes standard. It's what brought her to MSU Northern.
I love Northern. It's such a family, and it's so small that it's just, we all work together, and when we need help, somebody's always there. And
throughout the season, she and McQueen were right in the middle of the battle in the Big Sky region. Every run, every second, a chance to move up.
My goal is I do want to make it to the CNFR and the breakaway, for sure, and the goats.
A goal, now reality. Tom Wiley, MTN Sports.
Well, as we talked about earlier in the show with bulls, when it comes to horses, what's the training process like for all these different events? MTN's Caroline Weiss has more.
In rodeo, horses are involved in nearly every event. But what goes into getting them ready for everything from team roping to barrel racing?
I mean, without horses, there is no rodeo, so 95% of everything you do is off of a horse.
The rodeo goes by quickly, especially if you're on a horse. But there's a lot to do before the gates open.
This is Oakley. She's my barrel horse.
Freshman Brylan Garrett competes in barrel racing, goat tying, and breakaway roping for the University of Montana Western. She's been running barrels with Oakley for about a year.
I got her when she was 2. We broke her, and then we sent her to just get patterned on the barrels a little bit, and then I seasoned her. So yeah, she's doing good. So I'm excited to run her today.
Each discipline requires a unique training regimen, and often a whole nother horse entirely.
Barrel racing horses, goat tying horses, breakaway roping horses. So each one of those is a different animal. You know, you don't typically tie goats off a barrel horse.
No matter what you're training for, Corey Mitty, coach of the University of Montana's club rodeo team, says the key is building confidence. It takes months or often years to perfect.
You know, it's repetition and reps. You're going to train it slowly. You're going to show it the pattern. You're going to give it rest. You're going to speed it up. You're going to give it rest. If it goes good, you're going to speed it up again. If it doesn't, you go back to step 1 and walk and trot.
I will say goats is a lot more work. You got to put in the time, and just it's a lot, but especially to train one of your own, it feels pretty good when they're winning.
When rodeo time comes, it's all about the relationships between the horses and the riders.
It's like a dance partner, really. I mean, or a partner, period. Your horse is your buddy. It's like your pet. It's like a dog, right? But it's like your dog. You're trying to win with it.
You grow a strong bond with them. There's nothing like it. I wouldn't know what I would do without them.
In Missoula, Caroline Weiss, MTN Sports.
The travel in rodeo is as big a part as the competition itself. Coming up after the break, we'll dive more into that. Welcome back to Grit and Glory, the University of Montana Spring Rodeo. Well, travel and expenses for college rodeo teams can be hefty, but it's all part of the experience if they want to compete. MTN's Derek Joseph has more.
Traveling for any sport requires a lot of timing and planning, and when your equipment is thousands of pounds worth of horses, the logistics are even more important.
Tucked away beyond the grandstands of any rodeo, there's usually hundreds of trucks and trailers that carry everything an athlete needs to compete. For the University of Montana rodeo team, those trailers are hauled to at least 10 different locations every season.
When we're talking 15 traveling athletes, we're talking 30 horses go with us because a lot of these athletes do multiple events. Some are doing team roping, breakaway roping, barrel racing, and goat tying. That person would have 4 horses to take with them. Because most of the horses are disciplined in, each individual event, they're going to need those animals.
That is the case for other teams across the state as well, with athletes like Georgia Orahood, who competes in 3 different events and travels with 2 horses. She says it is important for the horses to be as comfortable as possible, given their legs get tired on road trips too.
they're really special to us, so we just make sure they're as comfortable as we are, and so they can, because they're athletes too, and when we get here, they're a huge part of what we do, so making sure they're as comfortable as they can be. When we get here, they can compete as best as they can.
And luckily for Ora Hood and almost every other athlete in the rodeo, they do not travel alone, which makes the slow and long road trips bearable throughout the season and builds up team chemistry.
Having really good travel partners is really important, because if you're traveling by yourself, you get tired and you get sleep deprived, and then you're not prepared for the rodeo. And having these guys with me and having me be with them, it makes it easier on all of us, just being better competitors.
In Missoula, Derek Joseph, MTN Sports.
Well, these grandstands here at the Missoula County Fairground were packed on Friday and Saturday for the University of Montana Spring Rodeo. MTN's Luke Shelton caught up with some of the attendees and what their experience was like here in Missoula.
Well, I've covered a whole bunch of different kinds of sports in the Treasure State over the years, but I tell you what, there's still nothing quite like the sights, sounds, and spectacle that is rodeo. And all of this action is first and foremost about putting on a show for the fans.
Beautiful weather. It couldn't be more perfect for rodeo. This is awesome.
That's Jenny Peterson, the mother of Montana Tech steer wrestler Justice Peterson. But during the 2 perfect days of UM Spring Rodeo, there were a whole lot more than just rodeo parents in the crowd. And like me, a lot of them were there to watch some daring cowboys and cowgirls compete against a stunning backdrop.
So these athletes are the most brave to do what they do, and so it's so fun to watch, and the environment is amazing here. It's beautiful.
And filling the grandstands was a mixture of both longtime rodeo fans and first-timers.
This is actually my first one. I am actually really excited.
Well, we've been coming for years. It's a family event, and it feels like Montana.
The steer wrestling horses go from 0 to about 25 miles an hour in just about 4 or 5 strides.
That's longtime PRCA announcer Barney Sheridan, who has a unique perspective of the rodeo fan experience, as his voice is a big part of it. He said his main goal is simply to make the event enjoyable for everyone.
Mostly we just try to make sure that everyone is having a great time, involve everyone in the dirt and what's happening in the arena. Try to make sure that adults have a wonderful time, but kids that are 5 and 6 years old have a great time as well. So the challenge is to just make sure everybody has a great time.
Rodeo appeals to fans from all walks of life, and Barney thinks he knows why.
Everybody, regardless of if you're a 3-year-old or if you're 83, at some point in their life, everybody has dreamed of being a cowboy.
In Missoula, Luke Shelton, MTN Sports.
College rodeo teams around the country and within Montana all have different ways they're viewed inside their athletic department. Coming up, we'll explain the differences between Montana and others after this. Welcome back to Grit and Glory. Well, when looking at the University of Montana Rodeo program, it's a different situation than other programs within the UM Athletic Department. MTN's Aaron Monson takes a look at what makes UM unique compared to them and, of course, other programs in the state.
We've turned into a powerhouse for recruiting in the last 3 years.
Dating back to the 1940s, University of Montana students have had the chance to compete on the club rodeo team.
We get plenty of scholarship dollars from the University of Montana to help recruit athletes. We raise a ton of funds to help offset some of their other costs.
Club sports usually demand less dedication than Division I programs where the sport is a full-time job and affiliated with its school's athletic department. At UM, that isn't the case. Instead, the strategy is to out-recruit D1 schools.
Getting out there in front of the kids that are in Montana and surrounding states showing a good program that we have here.
Now, one might think that there are some pretty big differences between a university club rodeo team and a university Division I rodeo team, but in reality, there's more similarities than anything. In fact, the biggest difference between the University of Montana's club rodeo team and Montana State's Division I team are just the number of athletes. I mean, rodeo is rodeo.
We get more of a say in what we're doing.
Caden French, a freshman team roper on the University of Montana's club team, is a big fan of the smaller program.
Lots of community, and it's a nice group of people that I've gotten to know well, which has been great, and I've made some really great friends, and I'm forever thankful for that. So if that's the cost of having a smaller team, then that's okay with me.
For some on UM's team, competing against D1 athletes puts a chip on their shoulder.
Being at a school here where the school isn't backing the rodeo team as much, not as much support, so yeah, it is kind of tougher. It definitely makes you want to try a little harder, try and beat them out as a team.
Rance Allen is a grad student athlete who says being a member still requires time and sacrifice.
Traveling, so you spend a lot of days away. You practice only a few days a week, and you're on the road a lot. So you're putting your horse under a lot of pressure, you under a lot of pressure, and you spend a lot of time away from doing schoolwork and your family.
But Coach Mitty only sees the program expanding into the future.
I see our program doubling in size in 5 years, competing at a higher level because of volume. If I could get 35 athletes instead of 15 athletes, the numbers are going to pan out.
Reporting in Missoula, I'm Aaron Monson, MTN Sports.
Chase Kellett's rodeo adventure started with candy.
I used to go every weekend with my dad, and I'd be the kid in the back seat sucking on a sucker with some gummy worms and a Gatorade.
He fell in love with the sport, but only after a rocky start. When Kellett was just 2, he lost a fingertip. Listen to this story.
My mom got a new saddle for her barrel horse, and she was just trying it on in the pen. And my dad's head horse came over and bit her, and she pulled back, and I was being a kid wrapping the shank around the panel and just popped her right off.
That's when it was clear he could handle rodeo. Fast forward to joining the University of Montana's rodeo team, an easy decision for the Picture Butte, Alberta Wrangler.
When you got a coach that's made the NFR and he's been there and done that, and he's the only coach in the region that's actually been there and done that, so why wouldn't you want to go and learn from the best?
coach Corey Mitty has been rodeoing since before Kellett was born.
Yeah. Keeps it simple. I mean, stick to the fundamentals. Look at your target, stay on your swing, pull when the feet are back, and deliver your rope, and it should all work out.
But what's a cowboy without his horse?
His name's Jay-Z. He's going to be cool, but he's still young and just getting started. And then I got a heel horse that's 13, and I've had him since he was 3. And I don't know, that horse, he's like my soulmate. We've been through a lot together, and we get along, and he's super, super easy to rope on.
As for life after college?
I got a job working on the rigs because that's where the money's at back home. So you follow the money because if you're going to be a rodeo cowboy, you don't want to be that broke all the time.
Sounds like another easy decision. In Missoula, Slim Kimmel, MTN Sports.
When it's the final rodeo of the year, the seniors take center stage. We'll have more from a University of Montana senior after this. Welcome back to Grit and Glory, the University of Montana Spring Rodeo. Well, for one cowgirl within the Rodeo program, she moved all the way across the country to Missoula to compete for the rodeo team. MTN's Slim Kimmel has more.
University of Montana cowgirl Nikki Davidson has 2 loves. First, there's rodeo, introduced by her dad.
I kind of didn't have a choice, but I think it's kind of an addiction. You kind of just fall in love with it. You fall in love with the competition.
And second, there's returning home to Canterbury, Connecticut for the holidays.
I do go back there for Christmas every year. It's a requirement.
It's doubly special for Davidson, who was a Christmas baby.
You know, I used to hate it, but it's been pretty cool. I always have school off, get to stay home and celebrate your birthday, so that's kind of nice.
That winter break is also the only time Davidson isn't competing in the rodeo arena. With the college season split between fall and spring schedules, those chilly months help sharpen skills.
Trying to practice, rep the dummy throughout the winter time and keep horses in shape and just kind of keep your mind on it so when the first rodeo comes up, you're prepared.
Biggs, Davidson's breakaway horse, got his big moment in the arena at UM's home rodeo.
He's been quite the handful. He is stinking athletic, though, and he's been really fun.
But Davidson's barrel horse, Danny, had to sit out the season finale.
My barrel horse is 18 years old this year. I've had him since I was a sophomore in high school, and he is just amazing. He is the best boy, but the outdoor arenas don't suit him very well, so I'm using a friend's horse for this outdoor arena.
Maybe that's 3 loves for Davidson. In Missoula, Slim Kimmel, MTN Sports.
Coming up, the college rodeo season isn't done quite yet, as the biggest rodeo of them all is next. We have your projected CNFR qualifiers after this. Welcome back to Grit and Glory, and now we'll turn the page and look to the future as we look at the projected College National Finals Rodeo qualifiers from the Big Sky region. The top 3 athletes in each event and the top 2 teams from the Big Sky region qualify for the CNFR. Montana State won both team races in the Big Sky, and they'll be joined at the CNFR by the UM Western men and the MSU Northern women. Individually, MSU's Taj Wells and Faith Marshall won the all-around titles. Wells is the top bull rider in the Big Sky, while Western's Cardell Loffrey and Coy Montgomery won the saddle bronc and bareback. Montana State has the Big Sky's top tie-down roper in Riley Mapston and steer wrestler in Jaden Whitman as well. For MSU Northern, Talon Cummins and Clayton 3-Irons took the team roping title, and Cadra Dodging Horse won the barrel racing. Montana State swept the breakaway, with Haven Wolstein taking the #1 spot, and Faith Marshall added a win in the goat tying. The CNFR is June 14th through 20th in Casper, Wyoming. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Grit and Glory, the University of Montana Spring Rodeo. We hope you enjoyed hearing the stories from these athletes from within the arena and outside of it. I'm Kyle Hansen with MTN Sports. Have a great evening.